Okay, you don't get your way at the polls, well, just go to court. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and Fox on top of some unions doubling down, and now they are, well, luring up. In San Jose, California, unions of police and firefighters filing multiple lawsuits. They're vowing to block the city from implementing changes to their pension and health care benefits that voters just approved by a whopping 70% margin. The pension bill in San Jose alone has more than tripled from $73 million to $245 million in just the last decade. We're going to get into that in a second. Stephen Leiser says that the unions have every right to sue. He's a senior partner with Democratic Spring Strategies. Well, they look at those costs, Steve, and say they can't. They can't keep going like this. What do you say?
Well, you know, I think it's wrong to scapegoat the unions of this, Neil. And the fact of the matter is, you know, we had these voters vote on a ballot measure that didn't have all of the available options open to them. You know, they're spending in San Jose, for instance, $100 million, hundreds of millions of dollars to build a new stadium for the Oakland A's. There's all kinds of other things that we could be looking at to raise money without attacking middle-class workers, people who risk their lives for us, you know, police officers,
firefighters. To be fair, this is 27% of the budget. Now, I'm not saying that you target those people entirely, but you got to target what is right now the biggest and most ballooning part of public cost across the country, and that tends to be pensions, benefits. It's not fair. It's the reality of the times, I guess. It's companies deal with it all the time when they have to revisit pensions that might have made perfect sense when there were 20, 30 workers paying in for everyone getting something out. But it is what it is. I mean, California collectively has a $400 billion shortfall. What do you do?
Well, you know, California is the only state in the union that doesn't charge oil companies for drilling on state lands. Just making that change, and by the way, they're the third biggest oil producer in the country. Just making that change would make billions of dollars of difference for the budgets in California. Why are we?
Well,
why are
I don't know if it would make
people?
Up $400 billion in difference. I guess my bigger question to you, Steve, is these costs are exceeding a lot of states, municipalities, towns' ability to pay. So you got to do something, all right? Now, you might want to get money from somewhere else. That's fine. That's your purview. But it doesn't change the fact that this is a bigger and bigger part of states' budgets, of cities' budgets. And in the case right now of this town, it's really only talking about new hires, right? So we give you an option of going away from a fixed pension, let's say, to a defined benefit plan where you kick in some money. What is wrong with that for new workers?
Well, you know, it's the slippery slope. We're going to take this benefit away from them, and in a couple of years we're going to take this benefit away from them. You know, when we had more benefits for workers,
most Americans don't even have the benefits. No. Most Americans in the private sector don't even have those benefits. They don't have those.
That's exactly right. They should have them. Everybody should have them. That's not the way we should be looking at this.
Yeah, we should all have Chateaubriand every night, but we don't. No.
Absolutely.
We don't have that option. Let's wake up in the real world and let me alert you to the fact we're all losing money hand over fist, and every state, city, and town is in the red.
So that all workers in the United States have a pension. You can see here in Florida,
then have them kick into it. Have them kick into it. Give them a 401k. What is wrong with that? Have them give it. What if the states can't afford it? What if the cities can't afford it?
We've seen what's wrong with that. You know, Neil, what's happened with the stock market in the last 10, 20 years, we've had three major crashes. We're going to put people's livelihood and the amount of money that they're going to have in their retirement at the risk of the market. We have people here in Florida. I'm here in Florida right now. We have people here who have to choose between food and drugs, who are eating cat food, all kinds of things. If you put in 30, 40 years of good, honest
work, you're dodging and deflecting. Steve, you're dodging and deflecting here.
You deserve to have a good retirement.
85% of America
person should have a good
Steve,
retirement.
you can keep talking these talking points here. I'm just telling you. We have 85% of private workers in this country have 401k type plans. So you can argue they do or don't work, but the reality is that's what Americans have resigned themselves to have because that's the reality of all they're going to get. And the people they pay, the people, wait a minute, I'll let you answer. I'll let you answer.
Okay.
The people they pay, whose salaries they support, whose jobs they cover, all they're asking is, why don't you have what I have? What gives you a right not to get something that I have to put up with, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Everybody should have a pension. You know, just a few miles from me, hundreds of thousands of retirees are struggling to figure out how they're going to buy food today. That's
Where's
not the
that
right
money
answer.
coming from? Where is that money coming from? If you want to give everyone a pension, you want to do I would love to give everyone two Maseratis.
It used to be the case.
Fine. I know it used to be the case.
Why isn't it the case anymore?
It used to be the case.
Why did we give that up?
There used to be a point in time where Medicare looked like it had a solvent future.
And now
Social
people are
Security
eating
looked
cat
like
food.
it had a solvent relevant future when we had 16 workers paying into Social Security, then one taking something out, and now it's almost even with that. I would love those days to be back.
You know what the answer to that is? Raise the cap of Social Security. Raise the cap of Social Security so that everybody pays Social Security tax on all of their pay.
So you're saying that in this city, in San Jose, in San Diego, in New York State, in California, in cities and states across the country under Democratic or Republican rule that are dealing with this issue left and right, the most creative thing you can come up with is to just pay more into it.
No, absolutely not. In San Jose, just as an example, they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars for a new stadium for the Oakland A's, who have a perfectly good stadium.
Leave the new stadium out.
What I'm saying is
that the new stadium isn't on the budget.
There are tons of options.
One out of four San Jose taxpayers' dollars.
There are a lot of things that we can look at rather than making middle-class people don't have a pension.
Steve, I'm not trying to make this a right-left issue. Oh, my God. I'm not trying to make this a right-left issue with you. I'm telling you, all I am is a numbers nerd here at Fox. That's all I do for a living. I'm a nerd. It's not red or blue with me. It's green. And the nerd in me looks at this. 27% of a budget going to general pensions. Little more than 20 years ago, it used to be 4%. Even I can read that math and say, well, this ain't going to work out.
There are a ton of options, Neil. There are a ton of options, Neil, other than beating up on middle-class retirees.
No one's beating up. When you say you have to kick in more for your pension, no one's stripping it away from you. They're saying you're going to have to pony up a little bit more for that. There are a lot of private city workers, a lot of private industry workers who would say, hell, I've been doing that for decades. Welcome to reality.
And they shouldn't be. That's the bottom line. Let's see cutting the hundreds of billions of dollars for the stadium. Let's see the oil companies kick in money for using
I guess I shouldn't be bitching about being fat, and I prefer the days in college when I wasn't. But you know what? I look in the mirror, I say, hey, Fox News alert, Neil, I'm fat. I would love to go back in time when I wasn't, but the reality is what we're dealing with now, the numbers I just told you now. And the best you can come up with is take away a stadium and hike taxes.
Rather than hurt people? Sure.
Okay, already. Okay. Steve, thank you very much. Meanwhile,